Love. Hello, welcome to the Daily Live Left. Ned does love the Walters,
He does love the
particularly in Blackpool. Hello, it is Monday the 26th of June. Oh, it's our John's birthday. Happy birthday, John. She won't be watching, but I've said it, so there you go. I've just reminded myself I need to send her a message, and don't need that on either, do I? Let's just start with the Mari Gray. We've got it in the title. Apparently, Everton have had Everton are in talks with Al Hilal. £25 million has been mentioned today, which
I'll be honest, I've always loved that Saudi.
Oh, the Saudi money is probably the best money that's probably the
best money.
I mean, listen, if Everton got, I'll be honest, if Everton got 15 million for Damari Gray, I think it'd be tremendous business. Bought him for 1.5, and I'm not someone that is saying, he needs to go. He needs to go because I think he's a decent squad player, absolutely. But if Everton got offered that money for a player who will have, just has got literally a year and a week left on his contract, should they take it?
I think, we'd be stupid not to take it, considering he's not in the manager's plans, really. He's not a starter. I think Everton will have targets, you'd imagine, who they actually want, who the manager thinks can make us stronger, who fits in with his vision. And I think, for me, they're all the reasons to sell him. I think for the money, that'd be obviously a once in a lifetime sort of fee that you're ever going to get for him. So, yeah, I know, listen, there's the flip side of it, which is we've got to be cautious. We can't just be letting everyone out. There's talk today that Mason Holgate might be going on loan. We've got to have
Sheffield United.
Yeah, we've got to have people coming in to the club. But I think Damari Gray's numbers in terms for the last 2 years for someone who was bought for 1.5 million, they're actually quite good. He scored goals, assists. He's a dangerous player, and has scored some absolute worldies. But he flatters to deceive far too many times. And if he just doesn't fit in with what the manager wants in terms of the first team, then you've got to accept that kind of money. And I think for that kind of money, we might be able to turn that into a couple of players, not just one. So yeah, as long as we've got irons in the fire ourselves, I mean, I know it's been pretty quiet so far, but as long as the manager knows what he wants and thinks he can get those players and that money can help, then I think it would make sense to let him go.
Yeah, it is tough because we'd be letting, he's got 12 goals, hasn't he, in 2 seasons. So we'd be letting more goals out the door, and the confidence won't be massively high that Everton can bring in players who can score goals, because so far under Kevin Thelwell, we haven't done that. That's just a fact. Dwight McNeil massively overperformed in terms of his goal numbers last season, but hopefully that's the start of him doing that on a regular basis. Hopefully he's gone to the next level where he contributes with goals. But we've got to get, if we do get him out the door, if Gray does go out the door, we have got to be bringing players in who can score and contribute, because he does. He is. You're right. He's inconsistent. He's frustrating most of the time, because you can see he's got that ability. He can go by people. He can smash them in from 30 yards. But just doesn't do it anywhere near enough.
No. And
the manager, which is probably the biggest thing in all of this, didn't seem to trust him. No. He did as a forward, as a striker, but he was just doing a job he wasn't used to. I think because he probably thought, well, if he doesn't work back up there, it's not as big of an issue. But if he plays wide and he's not getting up and down and working hard, that's why he was out the team. And I think if the numbers are right, and the lad might be looking and thinking, well, I'm not guaranteed to play here every week, and these are going to give me big money, and I'll be a big sign for them, and I'll play every week.
Yeah, and the lad's never really, anywhere he's gone, he's never really had a consistent run of form.
No.
Just consistent games. He's been like that for a while. And I think with a year left of his contract, I think he'll be looking around and he'll know that what the manager's feelings of me. If he thinks he's looking at it again and thinking, well, there's a year of my contract left, am I going to be sitting on the bench again? Sporadic games here or there. I might as well go. I think it would make sense for everybody as long as we get people in. Of course, that's got to be the number one thing anyway, hasn't it? And his numbers aren't great, but they're good for us for what we've had in the last couple of years. We've got to try and get away from that, obviously, and get players in who are looking at getting 8 to 12 goals a season and have that little bit of consistency in their game. When if they're not scoring goals, what else are they doing? You do look at Damari Gray sometimes and think, well, if you're not coming up with that big goal, maybe, whether it be a goal against Manchester City or whatever against Arsenal season before, what are you doing? What are you contributing in the games? Are you working for the team? Are you doing enough to keep your place? And I think the answer is no. So for me, if it was 25 million, then it's an absolute no-brainer. You'd have to take the money. You just have to. For a player on a year left in his contract, who Everton will be looking at anyway, thinking, what can we get for him? If it's 25 million or anywhere near that, and it blows the other people out the water, then take it. Please.
See, last week when I don't know whether it was me and you who were talking, I was saying, money for Gray. I was like, well, you've got a year left, so if someone's offering 8 to 10 million, then you'd probably have to take it, because otherwise you got to offer him a new deal. And he's at an age, he's 27 now, or I think he might be 27. He's just made his international debut, got an assist at the weekend. They drew 1-1, Jamaica with the United States in a Gold Cup. So he's an international footballer in his peak. So he's going to be going to Everton. Well, I want, say he's on, I don't know, but say he was on 60 grand a week, he'd probably be looking at Everton and going, well, I want 85, 90. We're in a phase of trying to bring all this money down. And this is a player, now, okay, if he was getting 10, 12 goals a season, you might be tempted to go, actually, yeah. Well, you would be. Yeah. If he could guarantee every year double figures, you'd go, yeah, okay, because you're our source of goals. But we can't. You might get 4 next season or something. Fine, you're giving them 90, and then everyone's going in a year. Why did we keep him? Why can't? No, this is the issue that Everton have faced. We're getting to, and it'll be like this with the Wobie. There's a zone that we hit where it's like, do we keep them? Oh, we can't let him go. We give them a bigger contract. They don't perform. Then everyone wants them out. And then no one will take them because they're on such high wages that we end up doing what we've done with, we're going to have it again with Jean-Philippe Gabam, aren't we? We're going to have it probably, Gomez, we might not. Someone might offer, a few clubs are after him. We might get 3 or 4 million for him, whatever. Probably should get more, and this is where we are with Gray. So that is the choice, really. It's, do we want to offer him bigger wages, another 3 years, and commit to that? Or do we say, if we get 10 to 15 million, do we sell him and then reinvest that in a younger winger who might get 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever, and do it that way? Because we've got to bring that wage bill down, haven't we? We just have.
Yeah, the question is, has he earned a new contract? And I don't think he has. I think, again, I get the argument for keeping him, but the standard is just so bad. I mean, he's not somebody in his first season. For the first half of the season, he was very impressive.
He was. And
then he just sort of dropped off and never got back.
Fits and started.
And for me, right, it's like you've got to, if he doesn't go this summer, he'll go for free next summer. Not in the grand scale of things when you've only bought someone for 1.5 million isn't the worst thing in the world. But if someone is offering money this summer, you've got to take it then. And you've got, and a football club has to be ready for that and has to be ready for the next set of things, the next player to come through the door. The next player should already be through the door, really. But Everton have got to be ready to go. And I think it's that fear amongst people sometimes where it's like, what if we end up with someone worse? Because we have ended up with people who were worse than players when we've let them go. All players will leave your club. It's how they do it. And who are you ready? How long have you been ready for? Is the replacement already at your football club? Well, it's obviously not. But Sean Dyche only obviously coming in at the back end of January, will have already known he needs to make changes anyway to this football club, and it's almost like it's a blank slate, isn't it, for him certainly. And you've just got to hope that Kevin Felwell is ready. And again, when we were talking Friday and talking about the situation with the interim board, this is what worries me. This is why I'm not happy that people like Bill Kenwright are still about, because this is what worries me about an interim board, is that it's all right saying, well, we're just passing the baton. This is such an important time. I mean, the rumour last night about, Mashiri wanting to bring in the old football technical director from Arsenal, it's stuff like that. That's the real worry. Is that
that's more the owner.
While it's but that's the point, isn't it? He's
the biggest.
He's in charge, isn't he? So while you've got the status quo going on, and you've only got a couple of months to get this sorted out. If things aren't allowed to progress for Kevin Felwell and the manager, then we could, if we need to come out of this summer so much stronger than we were, and we've already lost 4 players. Damari Gay could be 5, Holgate could be 6. Now it's great people go, well, these so what? They're average players, but they're still your squad. They're still these are the people that fall away. That's fine. They fall away when you've brought players in. So that means that the pressure is on Everton then to bring the replacements in and a little bit more. And I suppose that's what, it'll worry us all, because the track record's just not there in the last couple of years to do that.
But we do have to, while the opportunity's there to get them out, we do have to take them.
But
we can't sit and wait. We have to.
But that's what will worry people.
No, absolutely, and they're right to be worried. You shouldn't. I don't expect anyone isn't worried, because until you see traffic coming in the other way, you're gonna be worried. Like you said, the squad is getting thinner and thinner, and already thin squad. And when we say thin, we mean really in terms of quality is made thinner. Isn't it? And that's the way it is. So, but sometimes, like I've just said, when that money is there, we've done this before where we've hesitated, and it hasn't ended up happening. And you go, why didn't we do it? We've seen it last year with Anthony Gordon. Had we sold Anthony Gordon for the 34 million that Chelsea offered, we could have got Ollie Watkins for Everton had agreed a loose agreement with Villa. It was 25 million. They wanted him gone because Gerrard didn't like him. If we'd have just took the money on Gordon, we'd have had Ollie Watkins in, and we'd have had some money. Yeah. And how it played out, Gordon went anyway. Okay, you could look at it and go, well, it's sorted FFP out and all that. Well, great, but we almost got relegated because we didn't have any goals. Yeah. Now, Ollie Watkins stayed at Villa, got back in, scored. Sure, he scored in like 8 games on the run and broke a club record or something. They end up in Europe because of his goals. And we end up going to the final day of the season. So sometimes when them opportunities are there, you have got to just go, right, this is the right thing. This is the right thing to do, and we're doing it. And especially because last summer Anthony Gordon did want to go, and we kind of held on to him. And whereas, so if Damari Gray does want to go, then just be big and go, right, okay.
I mean, the good news is we're buying Leeds, so...
Yeah, we've got Leeds as players, so it's fine. It's fine. Hit the like button and make sure you subscribe. Thank you very much. Royal Blue says, what is a good offer for Gray? I'd say over 10 million. I really would. If Everton got 15, that's 10 times what we paid for him. We've had him for 2 seasons and he's averaged 6 goals a season. I'd say that's a pretty good deal. Everton make 10 times on him, 10 times on Niels and Kunku, which it looks like it may well be, then they're the deals you do, aren't they? And Everton should be looking to them, mate. And you're never going to do it on every deal, but Everton should be looking to get people in from Europe for 4, 5, 6, 8 million and go, we can triple that in 2 years. Brilliant. And if we start doing that, all of a sudden, the profit and sustainability issue would go away. The manager would have a pot of money each year. Okay, you'd have to wheel and deal a little bit still, but then at the end, the onus then gets flipped back onto the commercial team to create more money as well. We're going to be in a bigger stadium, more revenue. Then you're at a totally different place. And if you do your recruitment properly, you can get to a place called European Challengers very quickly. But if you continue to do the wrong thing, which is what we've done, we find ourselves where we are, which is at the bottom of the league, scrapping around because we haven't got the money to get the players we get in. And when we do get a pot of money, we waste it on people that aren't really going to A, generate us any money, and B, do the job. You know, we saw that last summer with Neil Maupay. Are Everton going to get 12 million for Neil Maupay this summer if they sell him?
Hello, Saudi Arabia.
It's the only place, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's literally the only place where you might get close to what you paid for Neil Maupay back. Right? Everton, I honestly think if Everton got offered 7.5, 8 million for him, by anyone, they should bite their hand off. For him and for us. And almost come out of it and go, right, we've come out of that not that much down on the deal. It didn't work. Let's move on from it and dust ourselves down and move on. And that's a place where Everton have to get to. Tommy Tucker says anything over 10 million would be good. Stu Rogers says Gray has done some good to great things in the blue shirt, but not enough. 1.5 million compared to what we can get, a no-brainer. Just hope it's reinvested in the right areas and soon. Mike Rafferty says sell him now. Sophie Gallagher says, do we have to sell a player by the end of the week for FFP like we did with Richie? Nope. I think we're probably, without knowing everything, but I think we're probably not far off profit in this year for profit and sustainability, just due to the fact the Anthony Gordon money's in there. Moise Keane figures will drop in there. Players dropping off the wages, and I'm sure there's a big loss drops off this year as well, the 92 million. Because of obviously it's over a 3-year cycle. So if you're just looking purely at profit and sustainability for the year, I think Everton aren't too bad actually, and may end up 2 or 3, 4, 5 million on the plus side, which would be huge for us to have a year without losing money. So no, I don't see it like that. But obviously we've got to get to a place where we can give a manager 30, 40 million every summer at least to spend that money, and he reinvests it, amortizes it, whatever, and then that has to build up then to 70, 80, 90 million, doesn't it? That's the place you'd have to get. Take the money and run, says Kevin Kraft. Kevin Kraft also says Holgate to Sheffield United. Yeah, Mason Holgate. Let's move on to him then. We've talked about Damari Gray there. Mason Holgate, a player who is probably at the right time for him to move on. It's 27 in October, I think it is. The lad's never been a regular, or certainly hasn't been a regular for a few years now. In fact, I think he played 8 games last season. For a young centre-back, or he's not young anymore, is he? For a centre-back coming into prime, he needs to be playing very much like Tom Davies, who obviously announced last week he was leaving. So, Sheffield United, loan. Now,
yeah, I mean, listen, I'd rather we were selling him, but again, it's his
wages. Think it'll be a loan with an obligation?
I don't know. I don't know. Why wouldn't they just buy him now? But yeah, listen, if the manager doesn't want him, and this is obviously you would get a loan fee. But it's still not the same as selling a player. It's still not the same as getting money in for him and getting his wages off the books.
No matter what money that is, by the way. If it was 4 or 5 million.
For them, he'd be a good player. 26, turns 27 in October. You just want these players gone, don't you? You don't want them hanging about because you know exactly what's going to happen. They're going to end up going to leave the club for nothing, because we just can't get them to leave. Basically, but you can understand that because if the wages are so high, then and maybe there'd be an obligation if Sheffield United stayed up. But I really don't want Sheffield United to stay up, so it's a difficult one. But again, he's another one, isn't he? Mason Holgate. He's him. Him and the likes of Tom Davies have suffered so much from. It's easy to say, I've never done it, but it's suffered because managers coming in, coming out. changing the positions, not having maybe that strong leader next to him.
Yeah.
Because he's not like an alpha centre back himself. And I think these players just haven't developed because they haven't been given a chance to develop by a team being built, being part of a team that grows. So yeah, it'd probably be the best thing for him if he was to go. But I'd rather it was a permanent.
Yeah. Gary Ward says, hello, Mark McDonald says, yes, sell Grave, we get a good offer. Michael Wood says, if we got 30 million, that'd be unbelievable. If they got 15 million, 20 million, I think it'd be unbelievable, Michael. Tom says, no issue for me being linked with attacking players from Leeds, as they have a lot of talent. Their issue was conceding goals and hiring terrible managers. Deitch or Hasenhüttl would have kept them up comfortably, in my opinion. I'd take Nonso over anyone, but be Sam with Harrison or Somerville. Cheers, Tom. James says, when you think Everton are heading in the right direction with the links of Sims, Gray, Holgate, Mopai leaving, then we find out Kia's mates getting a role at the club that could undo all the hard work already done by Thelwell. Do we need to protest? We don't know if there's anything in that, do we? That's what you'd have to look at. Let's not jump on a story until we know that there's something in it. Rich Bond says, sell, too inconsistent, attitude is questionable, and I'd assume his head will be turned now anyway. No point in trying to retain him. Yeah. Fed says, happy new week, guys. Let's not forget that although it's a very frustrating summer, it's summer all the same. The best time of the year to be an Evertonian, and we've not lost since the 14th of May. Up the Toffees.
Facts.
They are facts. And wasn't that was Man City as well, Check. That was the treble winners. So you can take it back even further than that. You know, one at Brighton, drew at Leicester. So really, we haven't lost properly. Newcastle was April.
Yeah.
We've lost once since April, and that was to the treble-winning European champions. And it's nearly the end of June. So really, who are the real world champions here? I think it's Everton. I'm not going to lie. Jake says, hello, boys. I said when Alan Myers posted that tweet that considering he wasn't a regular starter under Deitch in a pretty poor side with a year left on a deal, having paid what we did for Gray, I think anything the plus side of 10 million is excellent business for Everton. Correct. Jake also says, having said that, Gray's been very good value for us and has had some important moments. Clearly a talented player in there, but he plays within himself a lot of the time. Absolutely. Matthew Barry, hello Matthew, says, hi lads, hope you're well. Selling Gray for anything over 20 million would be incredible business for the club. Looks like the club wants the money into this financial year to make P&L more attractive to lenders, even though we're likely to start spending it in the next day. Last week's business with Blaine was the best episode, yes. Absolutely brilliant. That because I was arguing with him. Is that what it is? Give it a little bit of spice, a little bit of salt bay over Blaine there, just to let him bite a little bit. He went for
That's
it.
It's not a nice image.
It isn't a nice image, no. Jake says, watch Yerry play 30 games for Fulham next season. Is that where he's going? Fulham?
There was a rumour over the weekend.
Yeah. Well, listen, he was 5th from January for us. Rob Key says, so torn over this one. 1.5 million we pay for him. If we get 10 times what we pay for him with a year left on his contract, it's brilliant. The other part of me, though, is worried about him going out and no one coming in. I do also wonder if we could get anyone with Gray's numbers for 15 million, even if it's 6 goals a season. Squad players these days cost more than that. Depends where you get them from, though, doesn't it? I get what you're saying. And I've said before, I'm not in a rush to see Damari Gray go out the door. No, some people really don't like him. But he has weighed in with goals. And in a squad that doesn't get many goals, you are worried. But should that really be our bar? What did he get? 4 Premier League goals? 4 Premier League goals he got last season.
2 of them penalties.
2 penalties. Great goal against Man City. Don't get me wrong, tremendous. And his other goal, I can't even think of his other goal. Oh, Forrester own last minute, which was a great goal as well. The other 2 were penalties. He scored at Fleetwood in the Cup, and he also scored at Bournemouth in the Cup, didn't he? So, could Everton get a player for similar numbers for 15 million quid? Well, we were linked with one the very same age who's just got 7 goals and 9 assists in the Premier League. His release clause apparently 15 million. He's a much harder worker, plays 36, 37 times last season and has done it the last 3 years. Looks exactly like a Sean Dyche player to me. Can play left or right, better on the left, but can play on the right. Yeah, that is, of course, Jack Harrison.
I was waiting for you to I knew it was Jack Harrison. I thought you were like teasing it out so long. That, of course, is Jack Harrison. This is your life.
But it is, isn't it? If you really wanted to go, well, you know what? Here's a fella who'll do very similar, probably weigh in with more goals. You know that he's going to work his bollocks off for you. He even had the seal of approval from Mr. McGregor.
He is a lot more. He's a lot more robust, isn't he?
Of course, and he runs up and down. He gets goals. He creates goals. Is he the most exciting one where you're going to be made? Oh my God, can't wait. No, but you know what you're getting from him. And Everton aren't at a time where it's sexy football, are they? We're at a time where we want lads who pull the shirt on, roll the sleeves up, get us goals, work hard. And we've always loved them players. We just have. And then if you can start sprinkling the other bits around them, then that's how you get a decent side, a good side. You know, everyone lauds Brentford. Well, Brentford are hard working, aren't they? And they've got goals at the top end of the pitch. Villa are like well organised under Emery, and they've got that lovely little sprinkling at the top end of the pitch. A lot of teams are like this in the Premier League. God, I love Everton to be hard working with a lovely little sprinkling of goals at the top end of the pitch, because we would be in the race for like the Conference League. We would be. That's what football's like, isn't it? Kevin Blaseta says would happily replace Damari with Nonto and Harrison and Nonto or Harrison plus Rodrigo. I'd try to get some performance bonuses in there as well for Damari. I think he'll do well in the Saudi League. Let's see what happens. Harry James Tattoo says, other than a few worldies twice a season, he doesn't really offer much more going forward, does he? I'm preparing to be sports washed. Joe Haynes says, Jesus, anyone saying close to if we get 20 million for him, he's pony. The lad is not a Premier League player. He's an 8 million player at best. Still, the only way you can accept any fee for any player is with a replacement planned or signed in advance. Everton Vikings says, Joe, people want the likes of 15 million for Adama Traore, who scored 0 goals and 0 assists. We undervalue our own players. Gray, whether you like him or not, and he's inconsistent, but he's got 6 goals a season and is rapid. Teams want players with a goal in them and with pace. He's easily worth 10 to 12 million to another Premier League club. We would not replace his output for the same price. To a Saudi club, 15 to 20 million is not unrealistic at all. Yeah, good points. Very good points. Benjamin James says most of his goals last season weren't under Dyche, so therefore he's not in Dyche's thinking. It's a no-brainer and be good for P&L. Sell him while you're there. Offer Mopai to the Saudis. Bill Cummings says, sounds like Gray, Sims and Holgate could all go this week, and apparently the Leeds players have lower release clauses. Well, Leeds are in trouble, aren't they? They're trying to get as many out as possible and reset. They've obviously got the 49ers take over as well. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with those. Pip says, Pedro's the last player you were attached to. Mine was Baines.
Richarlison?
Seeing his thing today. I don't know where it's come from, but...
Yeah, probably Richarlison. Just in terms of seeing a player who connects with the fan base and actually does what he says. But... listen, I'd love to be connected to players, but you know, we'll see what happens. But no, none of these. I'll be honest with you.
I mean, Bournemouth just signed Justin Kluivert. Didn't even see that.
Yeah, they were that. Yeah, they were thinking of last week with them. Wow. He hasn't done that much, though, has he?
No, he's another one. I'm just saying. It's
if his name was Justin Brown, would you be asked?
No, Bournemouth though.
I know, but they've got money.
They've
got money though, haven't they? That's the thing. They've got a new owner who owns 2 clubs and he's got money and isn't
They're not, well, they've never overstressed themselves, have they? So they've got a bit of room in that budget.
Of course.
Richard Parr says, afternoon, lads, remember the brief period when Holgate was the best CB at the club and we were gutted, all gutted. He got injured in pre-season. Yeah. What the hell happened? He got injured and never recovered from it, basically.
I mean, you're making it sound like he physically didn't recover.
No,
from it.
I mean, he never got back up.
He doesn't have it up there.
Mm.
He does not have the thing that moves you from being a good up and coming prospect to a player you can rely on all the time. And you look at, like, when you talk about play, no one's asking for to be unbelievable. You're asking for a level of consistency that comes in, week out. That Holgate has got all the technical ability. He's got the pace. He just doesn't have the decision making because he thinks he's clever. And like we've said loads of times, look at how he got injured that time, trying to do a Cruyff turn against Preston.
For no reason.
For no reason, in a friendly at home, the week before the season started. Absolutely the stupidest thing he could have done. And he's never come back from that because he's never got in the team consistently and nobody trusts him. It's like when he gets comfortable in the team, he instead of going to the next level, he goes, "Oh, I'm boss, mate." Yeah. And that's his problem. And you find that with a lot of players, and maybe they get to a certain age where it clicks and it's too late. It's far too late.
Yeah. If you can freshen yourself up by moving clubs as well, because you've got to prove yourself again. So hopefully for him, that's what he'll do. Evan says, surely we should get Ross Barkley for free. He'll replace Gray's goals and assists. Rodrigo for 3 million. He'll add 10 goals plus assists. Rodrigo 4.5, isn't he? He's 32, but you know what?
Is it what? Is there a fee?
4.5 million.
Still not.
That's 13 goals last season. And he's another one that can play just off the striker. I don't know with him. I loved him when he was in Spain. He's come here and he's done all right for Leeds. Got a goal in him, like. He has, yeah. I'd rather have younger players who we can develop and sell on, of course. But Gary Ward says 20 million. Bye. Steve P says if he's even considering going to the Saudi League, he shouldn't be anywhere near our club. Let's be honest. He turns up 5 times a season. He's a lazy player. There's better young players we could get for 10 million with higher ceilings. Yeah. Jonathan Rickard says 20 million is a must sale. I don't get the Holgate loan though. Why aren't we selling him? Malpine Sims. Because I think that'll be a loan with an obligation, you know.
Well, if it is,
because otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah, but that's it.
You'd keep him because someone might bite later in the window who need a centre back. Now you've put him up for sale. Now you've said he can leave. So otherwise, you're just saving on wages. So unless they've said we'll pay all of his wages, which they may well have done, and Everton are thinking, well, you know what? Basically, that's going to save us on, whatever. Let's say that saves us £3 million this season. We can put that to someone else. I don't know. But for me, that would have to be a loan with an obligation to buy next summer.
Hopefully.
I just don't see the point otherwise.
No, there isn't.
They're going to be down there, probably battling with us right now. So why would you strengthen them just for the sake of a loan? Doesn't seem, I was going to say it doesn't seem to make sense, but then it's Everton.
What does?
This is Everton. Rick says, see if the Saudis will take Keane, Holgate, Dele, Gomez and Mopai. Buy Gray, you get 5 free. Jesse says, Rodrigo on a 2-year deal could be the best business we do over the window. Guaranteed 6+ goals. Wormy Spoon says, finally linked to Iniacho. Okay. Phil says Gray's a squad player. If someone's offering 15 million for him, we can use that money to get someone the manager puts in the first team. We need to take the money. Yeah. AD says he has to go, but boy, we need the right players in. Holgate again, see you later. We need to have a reset, and moving these players on is great. However, I hope we can attract players. I think we'll always attract players. I just think we will. Chris Sutton's and hang on. Yeah. Definite. There's a definite caveat here, but Chris Sutton was saying, because he was on about Lukaku, like Everton should just go and get Lukaku. He'd go back there.
Of course, Chris.
They're a big club. Well,
Yeah,
he hasn't got many options, has he?
He can
So-
get an option at Everton.
But he was just saying Everton's still a big club and they're a big pull. He said they're not doing well and all that. So players will look around at other places. He said, but it is still a big club. If you can get it going in the right direction. So players will always be attracted to Everton. We've just got to get in a position, A, where we've got a bit of cash to go. We will pay that. Not about whether we can afford it. We spoke the other day, me and John. It's about having the money there and then. Someone goes, well, 6 million down payments, and you go, well, we can pay it over the year. There's no issue. We can spend 50 million. Okay, we'll give us the upfront money then. If you haven't got it, there's nothing you can do. So hopefully, moving the likes of Damani Gray and getting the money there means we can start to bring players in. Yeah. Off-Key says it's scary slashing the team so much, but getting rid of Keane, Holgate, Gomez, Cabaman and Gray saves us about 400 grand a week and loses us just 6 goals and a backup centre-back.
Yeah. It's scary if you're cutting the fat first, but you've got to do that anyway, haven't you? You just want... Like, I mean, listen, it could all...
Ross Barkley?
No, because he hasn't done nothing for 3 years. Like, don't get me wrong, Ross Barkley, fantastic footballer, but he's like, you look at him and think... And again, I don't know because I don't live that lifestyle and I can't criticise... Like, it's hard to criticise footballers like Dele Alli and people like... These people come through a system.
Yeah, actually...
They get chained through systems. They have pressure on them. It's like what we were saying last week on Round the Tower about Jack Grealish, like saying like he had 11 months of non-stop football, and I know John poo-pooed it, but I to me, they're chained and they chained and they worked and they worked and they worked and they go and play for England and then they come back and you've got where we like people. Everyone's got an opinion, of course they have, and some people are more sensitive than others. Some players are more robust than others in that, and it must. Then they've got all this money as well, and we criticise them for having all that money, but they're just all normal working class lads at the end of the day. And then it's almost like, well, I've got this money, I'm young. Actually, I want to go and enjoy this a little bit, and it's hard. I imagine it's really hard for them, and they get to a point where they go, "Well, I'm earning this money. I don't actually have to work that hard for it." While the demands of these people and these fans and the owners is like, you must be 100%, 100%. And that's what we expect, so don't get me wrong. Yeah. But then, so you look at it, and after a couple of years, and this is the Dele Alli situation, I imagine this is similar for Ross Barkley, they lose it, and you just think they're never getting it back. I can't think of a player that has had a couple of years sort of off that has ever come back and been like, look at me, I'm back to what I am. It's never happened. They have that thing inside them where they keep those standards, all the way through their career. Yeah. And their career might, don't get me wrong, their career might finish like earlier than it should. So someone like maybe Wayne Rooney, let's say, where you think you could have gone for a couple. I mean, you only have to look at some players, and Wayne's a good example, and I'm not having a go at him, but you look at him when he was in his last year, and look how trim he is. And then the year later, the difference, and it's like, because they're not training every day, they're not being paid to train as hard as they need to as a professional footballer, so they start enjoying life a little bit. And I think that's the same with like someone like Ross Barkley. So maybe when he was that first couple of years in Chelsea, you go, well, he's still a player there, but now I just think he's done. He's enjoying that. He's nearly 30. He's enjoying that life now. And he's enjoying it a little bit too much. And I think to try and think, you're trying to reinvent that player, aren't you? It's just not going to happen. It isn't going to happen. I could see him returning. I really could.
I think he'll go to America, somewhere like that.
Yeah,
I think he'll get a thingy. Well, I mean, other players are going there, it seems, don't they? Who's had a couple of years off the game, so there you go.
Yes.
Gray out, not so in, says Gavin Johnson. Jesse says April 27th, Newcastle. I came 11,000 miles to watch that shit show.
That was a low point.
Apologies, Jesse. On behalf of Everton, I apologise.
Craig Brown's dad.
Scotland, has he?
Former Scotland manager, yeah.
How old? Has he been ill for a while?
83 he was. 83.
God.
But it could be that this week, couldn't it? It could be, I've heard a couple of people mention that, but it could be that we do get to the end of June, let that financial year pass, and then we go into July. Yeah, we've got that goes into the books. That's safe. That's yours. You've got that. And then
The
July
bendy
the
bully.
1st is a different year, and suddenly you can start spending. And then that's the ridiculousness, isn't it? Of like bookkeeping and all these financial stuff, is that a day can just make a difference. Same with last season when we sold with Charleston. It's like that day goes, well, that was last year. Oh, you sorted. Now we're into this year. Now you can actually spend.
If they let like the year pass and they have got all that in the books and they're up and everything, then because Everton spent, if you look at the books, it was like 61 million or something, or 66 million. They brought in 67 million through Anthony Gordon, and then you've got, so Everton could finish the season that year, the financial year, 4, 5, 6 million pounds.
Players have dropped. Players have obviously drop off.
And then you go, see, that year we made a profit to the Premier League. So we are doing exactly what you asked us to do. And that loosens everything a little bit. And like you say, the next day, you know, you go to bed at 11:59 and you've made £7 million profit, 6 million, and you get up the next day and it's like, spend some
it's a
money,
different year, isn't
it's
it?
a new year.
Well, in a way, this used to happen, funny enough, in the Moyes years. It used to happen with the TV money.
Yeah.
You knew Everton starts bringing players in the minute the TV money was in the bank. You know what I mean? That was the Giaro lad.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? It's cash flow, isn't it? That's what it is. Nathan says Gray has had his whole career to find some consistency and never has. It's not even like you can blame it on injuries. I'm tired of the experiment. Gavin Johnson says Gray flatters to deceive. Headless chicken who has moments of brilliance. Hit that like button now. Come on. 10 was what? Just over about 12% of it, the like button. It's naughty, that.
You doing that thing?
That's naughty. I'm going to go Stephen Bartlett here. Did you know? Can I just ask you something, really? Did you know that currently only
half of you
who subscribe,
only half of you don't subscribe and are watching?
We want to bring that down. So hit the like button. Thank you very much. I mean, it is cheeky to
if
come.
If you're not subscribed, please subscribe.
Why wouldn't you?
I'd really like to get it. I'd really. I just want to get to 100,000. I'm done then. Literally, I'm done.
Just gonna retire. Not say a word.
See. Some of you would love that, wouldn't you? Some of you would absolutely love
48% would like, well, 53% no.
27% want Ned on.
Oh my God. On what? What did he want Ned
the
on?
Waltzers.
Yeah, on the Waltzers in Blackpool with his tickets. Whee! I was just, come on, it's a Monday. It's like, I just realised the fan's not on. I'm thinking it's warm. It is warm.
Nothing. He's not listening. He's working. He's working. He didn't even hear you.
Yeah.
Nothing. Just talking about what you found on Baz's laptop before.
Is he Samuel Smith linked to Man City?
Oh, of course he is.
Of
course he is. You can't have anything, can you?
Nothing. Wormy Spoon says Jack Harrison is better than Gray. Well, yes.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Let's move the conversation slightly.
Move it on.
So James Garner played twice for the under-21s this week. He played at right back both times.
Hang on. Night, nothing. Going to bed. He's in New Zealand. He's knackered. Thanks for watching, mate. Make sure you like, subscribe, and go and subscribe to More Than a Game, our other footy channel as well.
The Hobbits.
Look for the Hobbits as well. Yeah.
So he played right back both games, and obviously we've seen him play right wing back. Now, could he be someone you would put in at right back, or do you just think for us it's a good option in terms of Seamus at his stage of his career, Patterson with his injury issues? You think that's just a good option that we have him in the squad and he can play right back, and in case, and that means that actually someone like Mason Holgate can go, because another one reason why he can go, well, we don't need cover at right back because James Garner can add that cover at right back.
Yeah, I don't want to. Me personally, I don't want to retrain.
No,
James Garner to be Everton's right back.
Plummy.
Yeah, just do something else while you're here, kid. In case you got injured, you've got to think of the long term. I like Garner. I think he's a good footballer. I think he's a good player. I think he can play midfield for Everton. I really do. But it is good to have that option that he can go there. I want Patterson to grab that by the scruff of the neck, that position this season, and really own it. That would do. Right? But if he doesn't, and then James Garner does go there and makes it his own, and that's where he becomes, that's his position for Everton. Sound. Isn't it? That's sound. The lad's a good footballer. puts a good ball into the box.
It's just interesting that he is the starting right back, though, isn't it, for the under-21s, like the England 21s?
Looking at him, aren't he? Carsey's looked at him and gone, good lad.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, and I don't mean no offence by this. Right back is the easiest position to play.
If you're a footballer, you
to play on a football pitch. Right back is the easiest position. But
look at the other fella across the park there, who's genuinely one of the worst defenders you'll probably see in the Premier League. But he's been fantastic.
No, he's an incredible footballer.
Great footballer. Just can't do the ugly bits, but that's fine. Because now they've put him in midfield in England. He's brilliant. Because he is brilliant.
No, he is.
So if you're a good footballer, and James Garner's a good footballer, I'm saying he's at Trent Alexander-Arnold's level. But I'm saying he's a good footballer. And you can get him on the ball with a little bit more time. Likes to tackle the kid. Very enthusiastic. So why not?
I think he reads the game quite well.
He does.
That's what makes him a decent.
It does give you that other option, doesn't it? He's put it this way: he's a better option there than Mason Holgate, because Mason Holgate is a defender, so therefore you're gonna just get defensive output from him. And we saw at Crystal Palace sometimes that ain't great if he loses his head. But what you would get with James Garner is once he crossed the halfway line, you get someone who can beat a man, can put a cross in to the penalty area. It's a good dead ball. So, yeah, why not? Why not have that as a good option? But like I said, I want Patterson to nail it down and Garner, because then Garner gives us a couple of positions in the team where he can go and do his job.
But that's the point. I'd rather have someone like James Garner going to right back than a centre-back going to right back, because I think that the position is changed and is changing all the time. And actually, someone like Trent Alexander-Arnold, the way has played at right back, and we know he's not a great defender, but look at the way Man City use their full-backs. The position has changed so much over the last 10 years, and was actually a big part of that was Seamus Coleman and actually Leighton Baines playing full-backs for us. But you actually do need to be a good footballer. But it's such, if you are a good footballer, I think it's such a simple position to play in, because everything's in front of you. Everything, especially for someone who knows how to tackle. Positionally, it's, have you got the engine to get up and down? Or that's a little bit different. But that's why centre-back can't be moved. The great Michael Keane experiment that we witnessed at Wolves, that shouldn't happen anymore. You should be looking to move someone if you need to. I mean, and ironically, that was always the thing that was said about Tom Davies, that he could probably play right back if someone had given him an opportunity to play there. Maybe he hasn't got the pace, but no, I think it's a good thing to have if you haven't got a fully developed squad. It's I don't think we should be looking for another fullback. I think it's good, another right back. Sorry, I think it's important that we have someone like James Garner who can go over and play in there if the occasion arises. And obviously, last game of the season we saw it when he played right wing back.
I mean, look at we wanted to go back all those years ago. People like Alan Harper,
of course,
could play right back, with brilliant right back, brilliant in midfield, could play right midfield as well, and he was worth his weight in gold. And then you move forward a little bit, and Ian Snowden, who was Everton. Yeah. Everton brought him in as a midfielder, and he was good, but then he put him to right back, and he was about to get in the England team until he snapped his hamstring, and he'd done it badly, and it's not the same as today, where he'd have been back, better stuff. He'd have recovered quickly, never quite recovered it. He then moved into centre-back and played there for a while, because he was a good player.
Yeah.
So it's always gone on, and you'll see it with other teams and clubs doing it, and moving people there, and midfielders becoming comfortable at full-back, and you go, he's brilliant, isn't he?
I think he was brilliant, wasn't he, when he played Owen Hargreaves when
he
played for England,
brilliant.
When he moved back to right back. He was absolutely... Steven Gerrard played right back.
Gerrard was right back as well.
As I said, I don't think it's a particularly hard position if you're a good footballer.
So, yeah. Jay Radcliffe said we should absolutely pull the Saudis' pants down for Gray. They're mad enough to pay it. Matthew Barry says, with the box deal ending, do you think this is where MSP can start to show their value and attract more lucrative deals from their network of contacts? Look at McLaren, F1 team sponsors. They've got the likes of Dell, WebEx, Chrome in the portfolio. Hopefully we can take advantage of this and finally be moved. It's you know what, Matthew? If they're getting involved and they're not tapping into those companies, then what is the point? Farhad Moshiri, as far as I can remember, in January when he did that interview with Jazz, talked about you getting these people in for their commercial excellence.
I seen one over the weekend actually, and I was wondering whether it did have something to do with it. So did you see the baseball over the weekend at So they played the baseball at the London Stadium, and by the way, looked unbelievable. I mean, that stadium is perfect for baseball. Not perfect for football, but it looked unbelievable. Andy Bush went. It looked brilliant.
Yeah.
But McLaren were there. They had one of their drivers there, and they had the car. I think they had the car there, and I was wondering whether that was something to do with MSP, because obviously MSP have got connections with the baseball, and have got their own part of McLaren as well. So I was wondering whether something like that, we would be able to get little tie-ins like that, and that will help, that kind of portfolio would help someone like us as we move forward as well. Obviously it's we know that they're not necessarily going to be investing in us at the start, but it is those draws that you can put together. You can draw from that portfolio and bring that in, and there's this and that's what you want. Look at a racing car. You could say to one of their sponsors, fancy sponsoring Premier League Football Club, and funny enough, Ryan Reynolds and McElhaney have joined their Formula 1 team today as well. Alpine, yeah. So there's a lot of cross pollination. Money makes money.
Money makes money, and the Formula 1, they seem to be throwing it anywhere. So Everton could quite easily, if they did have that expertise and have those links into there, start to make money from that. Newcastle are going to do it, and have done it. So that's what you have to do, and why not? Why couldn't MSP sponsor Everton, or get someone to sponsor at least just the sleeve? Doesn't matter. It's a way of bringing that extra revenue into the football club. We've seen it with USM, didn't we? So let's see it if these people are coming in and they have got experience and they're dipped into 3 or 4 football clubs as there is. Let's see their commercial savviness. Let's see it. Let's see, demonstrate to us.
And Everton need that, don't they? Because obviously, since the USM situation, that was our great get out cause, and there was images that emerged over the weekend of the USM arena, which had been patented with the copyright office, or in what's it called, intellectual property office of the government and all that kind of thing. And since USM went, there is a massive gaping hole for when you need something. So maybe MSP could provide that.
Absolutely. I've got to take Wormy Spoons to task here, just slightly.
To Taskers?
To Taskers, just see if he's got any garden furniture he needs or whatever. So we could have had Adama Traore as an impact sub for 8 million. He's far better than Gray, and he ain't good. He's not far better than Gray, though. He's quicker and stronger than Gray. His numbers will tell you that. No goals and 1 assist last season. And the 1 assist was this one where Pickford saved it, and they put it in. Which isn't a real assist. Damari Gray scores goals. He flatters to the season massively at Adama Traore. He should be better than Gray because of the pace of him. He's just not.
I just don't think you're moving on there, are you? Moving on. You just don't think we're moving there, so.
No. Okay.
Fair play, Ned.
Okay. Michael James' Garner is a better midfield compared to the others, options technically wise. Paul Corrigan says I'd honestly replace Gay with a more athletic, powerful midfielder.
Well, that will be the thinking, won't it? Maybe as time goes along, but we've got what we've got at the moment, and that will, of course, that will be the thinking. That'll be the thinking as we go forward, and we just think you got to get plays and got to get them in, haven't you? First.
Garner's still got Idrissa Gana Gay still got another year left in him comfortably. He was excellent for Everton last year. I don't see when people go on about him as if he's not. I just don't see it. I just see someone who's one of our best players every week, and people seem to expect even more from him. It's like, look at the people who are around him. He's putting fires out everywhere. It's all right. He gave a couple of goals away last season. He did. Awful back pass against Brighton. Awful play on the edge of the box against Arsenal. But so many games he was brilliant in. So many. He often sets the tempo. If Everton was settled and Everton had a good forward line, people would be going brilliant. So it's just that I think he's got comfortably another season left in him as Everton's main starter. Then that's where I would bring a Batista Mendy in and go, look, we're going to integrate you in and out this team because you're a young lad and you're going to take over from him. And then he's all of a sudden, then Garner's going to be the sub because he'll be 35 and coming on and doing that before he leaves. That's how Everton should do it, but I don't know. Let's just see what happens. Let's just see. Like the last couple. Where are we? Yeah. Don't need that. Listen, make sure you what are we on here on the subs? I'm just going to look. I know it sounds like, but we're just trying to edge it closer. There's 19 to go to 79,400, which obviously takes us closer to the 80,000, which is the first one, but 100,000. So come on, 19 here. There's 1,000 of you watching. Right? There must be 19 of you that aren't subscribed.
Easily.
So just click. Yeah, there you go. So, just click the subscribe button, take like that.
Why wouldn't you?
Like that.
Why wouldn't
That's
you?
all it does. Subscribe, done.
Then you don't miss videos.
That easy.
Then you don't
That
miss
easy.
videos.
That easy. Just do it. Takes 4 seconds.
We could go live at any minute because we've signed some amazing player.
Imagine.
And then
You should just be doing it anyway.
you know.
You should be doing it
And you
anyway.
go, I missed out on
It's
that.
not difficult. It's not difficult, is it?
What's hilarious, right, is he's just put his mic up and there's no lead in the mic.
I mean,
Gemma's sitting there going, oh my God.
it's the same thing.
Oh, there's literally...
When
No, that remind me of knowing Happy Gilmore with the coaches talking to us. Not Happy Gilmore. What? No, it's not wireless.
though.
What's the other one when he's an American footballer? Adam Sandler.
Oh, the
long
water boy.
Water boy. No, when Henry Winkler's talking to his mum and there's no lead
no
on the
lead,
phone.
yeah.
That's exactly
That was
what
him.
Ned was then. He put the mic up and there's no wire and he's a sound technician. Oh my God.
And when you say,
Oh
when you
my
say something, when you say something and no one bites, and then you say it again and no one bites again. Stop saying it. Stop saying it.
Gemma's sitting there like, oh my
What's
God.
going on?
Gemma's like, I've got a full-time job. No time in this place because this fella is going to be doing the big one.
Georgie Redmond says, do you find it funny when people mention about replacing Garner, as in Idrissa Gana Gueye, got the 3rd best recovery stats out of all Premier League midfielders? Yeah, he's brilliant. I just look at him and appreciate what he does. I don't look and think, oh, he can't do that and he can't do that, because he's doing so many jobs. Benjamin says, be good if we could get Amin Gori from Rennes. He's playing in the Euros at the minute for France, but in September will be in the Algerian national team. Let's hope Everton looking at these players. Steve P says, if we got 10 million for him, that could be a down payment for a right winger like Bakayoko from PSV. Just think about that for a second. He'd probably cost about 25 million as Mathew cost 30, and he was further ahead and been scoring a lot of goals. Don't know whether Everton will pay 25 million for a winger in Holland. Just don't see it. As good as what he is and potential is there, I just don't see it. But hey ho, let's see. Let's see. Where are we here? Nick Williams, like the last couple. Nick Williams says, where are we up to with Kevin Thelwell in the Kevin Thelwell point plan? The 120-point plan or whatever.
6,
yeah. TJ Mid said the highest errors leading to goals. Oh, we did, but look at every... Yeah, all right. It's not up to me to convince you. You see with your own eyes. I just think, personally, he's brilliant most weeks for Everton. Idrissa Gana Gueye.
Yeah.
That's what I see. I mightn't be right, I might be wrong. It's just, but the numbers quite often tell me how good he's been as well as my eyes.
and he improved, I thought, as the season went on.
Yeah, he will make mistakes, and he's not quite the same player he was 4 or 5 years ago. No one is, but he's still good enough for Everton's midfield. It's what we do around him that is the issue for me. And it's about a centre forward having the point of, a reference point where they can keep hold of the ball and get up the pitch, and then that takes the burden off him as well. But we'll see. Alex Goulden said, any chance we could tempt Kudus? Lampard was good at attracting young players.
Who was he linked with? Brighton over the weekend?
Was he? Yeah. He's big. They want big money for him, don't they? We had the opportunity, didn't we? Unfortunately,
we blew it.
It was them, wasn't it? It was United going for Anthony, wasn't it? That was the problem. If United wouldn't have pulled the trigger on Anthony, then we'd have had Kudus, wouldn't we?
Sadly.
That's where we're up to. It happens so much.
Yeah, of course.
Right, last two. Dan says, Everton are bringing me nothing but disappointment at the moment. However, it's the opposite from Toffee TV. Thanks for all you doing the top content. Cheers, Dan.
Cheers, Dan.
And Michael Wood says, do you believe that Mashiri has the business acumen that his fortune shows? I'm starting to think he's just one of Usmanov's puppets, and he was just used as an Usmanov trusted friend rather than a business partner.
That's a conversation that would, number one, legally we can't talk about.
No.
And number two, probably we could talk for hours about it, but just not legally.
We don't know, do we? The reality is we've no
The
idea.
evidence suggests he doesn't know how to run a football club. That's what the evidence. That's what the evidence suggests.
That can't be. No one can take offence at that.
No, that the evidence suggests he's not
great at running.
He's not great at running a football club, and he doesn't allow people to run football clubs, and he brings outside people in to do things, and he has no patience to let things just develop themselves without getting his mate in.
And that's never good.
No, it's never good.
Right, we're done. Thank you very much for everyone who joined us.
We'll be back at 5 on Toffee TV Premier. If you want to join us and you're not a Toffee TV Premier member, become a Toffee TV Premier member.
And also, if you are a Toffee TV Premier member watching, don't forget, get your tickets now. We've still got some left for the Premier night. So get them sorted. They're free. Come along and have a nice night in Murphy's Gym Bar. Right, we're going.
See you later.
Bye.